Howdy, folks. It's Thursday night. It's another episode of I Know Sports. He's a clown. I am Matt, joined as always by my good friend Gav. Gav, first off, happy Paddy's Day to you. St. Patrick's Day earlier this week. I hope you had a good one, and it coincided with a good week in sport. How was your week in sport?
It was good. Good. Yeah. Trying to remember what I watched now. You see, when Patrick's Day comes around, everything kind of melts into one. You don't know when the weekend is. You don't know when the week fucking starts. You know, people. I think it was on Tuesday, Paddy's Day this week, and then people are like, well, "Am I in work tomorrow?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then the kids were like, "Are we in school?" Like, I'm like, "Fucking sure you are." You know, I'm meant to putting up with 2 days of you here. You know, we literally had Saturday and Sunday, which is the weekend. Which as a part of a parent's contract, your kids will be home, will not be in school. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then it was like, they're off Monday. And I was like, why? And they were like, well, Paddy's Day. I said, that's not till Tuesday. But then they got the Monday and Tuesday off, and we were like, get back into school on Wednesday. But it all melts in. Watched a bit of Champions League football this week, I'm not going to lie. You massively piqued me interest with, I think it's college basketball where you have to pick 63 matches,
Yes.
which we're going to try to do. We done a reaction show to NHL Big Hits, which we planned for it to be 10 minutes and it ended up being 43. But we have got a new award out of it, which is the, I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, you can't remember. It's the Scott Stevens Memorial Award.
It's the Scott Stevens Award, where somebody does something absolutely fucking insane in sport, and they get the Scott Stevens Award, which is fantastic as well. And yeah, that's...
Did you finish watching the Players' Championship on the weekend past?
Yes, watch that. Yeah. Talk about that in a little bit.
Who won?
Cameron, Cam Young. I think I have his name now. I always get mixed up with Cam Smith. But he's on the Live tour.
Tisk.
Cameron Young, yeah, he did. Really nice guy, to be fair to him. There's, the amount of likable US players, I think, is possibly dwindling. Justin Thomas is really likable, let's be fair. But the rest are kind of like, some of them are likable, and then some of them have just no fucking personality. Cameron Young's one of the nice ones, to be fair to him. So yeah, watched a bit of that. Felt really, really sorry for Ludwig Auberg, who was so good during the week and then just collapsed on the back line of the final day, which it's happened the best. But other than that, no. My algorithm on my social media just seems to be full of Ronnie O'Sullivan snooker stuff for some reason. So don't know where the fuck that came from, but I don't know.
It's not like the snooker world championship is on right now or anything like that.
Well, I can't even remember when that's on anymore. That used to be a big thing.
But I know the darts is on around Christmas time because they always put that on.
The big thing is the darts at Christmas. But no, other than that, it's been a relatively quiet week because Paddy's Day takes over, and I'm not a big fan of Paddy's Day, but still went and had 6 or 7 points on Paddy's Day. To be fair, just to, I don't know.
So you kind of have to. It feels like.
Yeah. It's good. It's good if you're in a good place. If you're in a bad place where it's just messy, not good. But where
is it a bank holiday in Ireland? Does everybody get the day off?
Oh yeah. But the major problem here is that it's falling on a Tuesday, and people are like, how are we meant to make the most of this? If you're asking us to come into work tomorrow, and of course next year it'll be a Wednesday, and the year after that it'll be a Thursday. Until we get to when's leap years? Leap years are Olympic years, aren't they? So 28.
Yeah.
So next year it'll be a Wednesday. The following year it'll be a Friday, which will be fantastic. And they'll put Cheltenham on that week, because they like Cheltenham in around that week for Paddy's Day. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day if you get a good place. If you're in a good place, not mentally or anything, just in a good place where people are cool, you're fine. If it gets messy, it's one of the worst days of the year. So, really is.
Well, it feels like having been to Ireland in August and in May a couple of times. It feels like maybe coming for Paddy's Day might just need to be something that a guy needs to do.
Yeah, it's good. I have to say it is good.
Right. I mean, it's lovely. It's lovely weather over there in March. I know that much. I flew through my first time to Liverpool. I flew through Dublin, and it was like, holy, like grass is green, trees got leaves on them. There's daffodils and tulips everywhere. Like,
oh, we love daffodils.
Like,
big fans.
Back home is like minus 25 with 3 foot of snow on the ground. Like,
yeah, we're big fans of daffodils, though. Big fans.
Yeah. Wow. That's good. It's what diabetes awareness or something. I believe the daffodil is the official flower of. But my week in sport was a little bit more broad than yours. Shocker for the 7th week in a row. For me, the biggest thing has to have been the conclusion of the World Baseball Classic.
Venezuela.
Venezuela. It was absolutely spectacular.
Pure fluke. All right. I'm scrolling. I'm on Instagram. I was posting something on Instagram for one of the accounts I run, and you hit reels and you just start scrolling just to see what's going on, and I always laugh at I have about 4 Instagram accounts because of different things I run, and the wild variety between them is crazy. But I was like, I flicked up and it was like, this picture starts crying before last thing, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And it was like Venezuela, which it was really mad. Like, where was all this played? Was it in America?
That game was in Miami. The final game was played in Miami.
So Venezuela, didn't Trump go and have a go off Venezuela a while back?
I mean, they literally kidnapped the president of Venezuela. Yeah,
and said, give us all your oil. And then Venezuela stomp into Miami and go, here, well, I'll show you. We'll fucking take one of your major sports and we'll ram it straight up your hole, as he'd say in Ireland. And looks fantastic from the 11-second reel I seen.
It was absolutely great. The game itself was fantastic. Both of the semifinal games. So Venezuela played Italy, and the Americans played the Dominican in the semifinals. Both of them were great games. Venezuela was up 2-0 in the final game against the Americans until the bottom of the 8th inning. The Americans were at bat. Home run from Bryce Harper, one of the best players in baseball, ties the game up at 2, and you just think like, shit, like there was their chance. They had the lead. They just needed to get like 4 more outs, 5 more outs, and they would have won the title. And now it's a tie game. And they went out in the top of the 9th. And
question.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a baseball related question. Yeah. You said they were 2-0 up, and this guy hit a home run, and he got him to 2 for 2. Does that mean that there was somebody out on first or second base? So when he hits the home run, they both get around?
Exactamundo.
Right, just adding that to my
you are learning.
Bank of knowledge.
Yeah, there you go. But by the time the World Series comes around, you're going to be completely up to speed with all the ins and outs of baseball. But the Venezuelans managed to manufacture a run in the top of the 9th inning. They got a guy on base. They stole a base incredibly, where the guy's running from first to second. The throw comes in, and he like matrix his body around the tag from the guy that's trying to tag him out. Gets onto second, and then the next guy up, Eugenio Suarez, hits the ball into the left center gap. The guy from second gets home. They're up by 1. And the Venezuelan pitching, like the relief pitchers, the guys that you bring in at the end of the game to see the game out, they just threw smoke. It's just like to throw 100-mile-an-hour fastball is like, that's the pinnacle. Like 100 miles an hour, it's a nice round number. There's very few guys that can do it. And Venezuela seemed to have 3 guys in their bullpen that they would just put out there on the mound. Everybody knew what was happening. This guy is going to throw the ball as hard as he can right down the middle. And if you can hit it, there's a pretty good chance you're going to hit that ball out of the park. And the Americans just couldn't touch it. And the explosion of euphoria after that game, because there was, maybe not in the lower bowl, like when you're watching it on TV, the seats that you can see in a baseball game directly behind home plate in the lower part, those are the big money seats. Those are the main stand right at the halfway line sort of seats.
Yeah.
The ones you don't see up in the second and the third deck, way out in the outfield, the nosebleeds, those are the more affordable tickets, and that's where the Venezuelans were. And the noise that came off them was just incredible. And it's what led me to want to talk about the main theme of tonight, which is championship behavior, specifically around fans. But watching the Venezuelan players, arms linked around each other, singing their national anthem as they're celebrating being world champions, and like crying, every one of them basically, just tears streaming from their face. It's one of those moments that makes me love sports. And it means the Americans are not world champions of a sport that they should be world champions in every single time it's played. Yeah. They didn't win the last one in 2023. They played every 3 years. The one in March of 2020, shockingly, was canceled because there was a little COVID going on.
Yeah.
So the Americans, by the time the next one comes around in 2029, will not have been world champions of their national sport in 12 years. And I love it. Because the Canadians have gotten fucking whipped pillar to post by the Americans in the last month in international sports. So it's nice to see them take it on the chin.
It is. And fair play to Venezuela, and particularly after what all the American lads were doing to them. So to rock back into America and take the world title, I think is very apt, I think, to be fair.
Yeah, they did very good. Other thing you mentioned, I know you're never going to be a big college basketball fan. College basketball is a sport that has completely passed me by. I have no connection to it. I've got the bracket up here for the Final Four. I can guess that Duke is going to be good. So to break it down for you, Gav, so we came in a little late. I got to find a bracket game that allows us to play halfway through because the first round game started this morning. So okay. You get 4 groups of 16. Every team is ranked 1 to 16, and 1 plays 16, 2 15, 3 14, yada, yada, yada. It's so simple and easy. It's why when we talk about the Champions League, I don't understand how they make it so convoluted. It's a fucking bracket. Making a tournament bracket is the easiest thing in the world.
I know, but you see, the Champions League want to more or less guarantee they can get, I would say, 10 of their favourites into the last 16. They can live with that. Whereas I'm with you. I think you come through a league phase, it comes to the last 16 and you just go, right, none of this playoff shit, right? What we're going to do is we're going to put fucking, how many teams were in it? 40 something, whatever. What was in it? 30 something teams. And they just go, right, we're not doing any playoffs, 16 teams. And basically, we're going to play, 1 plays 16, 2 plays 15. And then when we get down to it, we literally play it through. Just set it up and go. But they'll never do that because they manipulate the system. But so is this something that me and you can do, or is this something that people that watch can do as well?
I'm not sure how. I kind of dropped the ball on this because, again, not being a college basketball fan, the lead up to March Madness really passed me by. So I only cottoned onto it last night that the game started this morning. Well, for you this morning, for me this afternoon. And by the time I found one, I sent it to you. And lo and behold, the European Union's data collection rules means that the NCAA's website doesn't
it's mad.
work.
Like, you sent me this and I was like, yeah, they don't like college basketball in the EU because something to do with data. And I was like, I just want to pick teams. I'm not looking to win millions here or anything. But what we can do is, I'll tell you what we'll do. They've started, it's 64 teams, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we do a thing from 32 teams down?
Well, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping I can find a bracket builder online that works in the European Union and will allow you to start after the first round.
Okay. Will you look that up? And we'll see how we get on.
It's gonna be just picking teams based off of names because
Correct.
Honestly, like I don't know anything. Like, okay, let's see here. Let's pick a game at random. We've got Nebraska against Troy.
I would pick Nebraska. Okay.
Well, you would have been right. Nebraska won, Gav.
Well, I'd have picked Nebraska only because I've heard of it, and I think something I might have watched had Nebraska in, and I think it might have been nice. Second thing is, I'm definitely going to pick Duke. The reason being, the Duke pub in Dublin is a really nice pub. So this will be my reasoning as we go along.
Okay.
Hit me with a few more.
Duke is like a perennial favorite for the NCAA college basketball championship. They are also probably the most hated team in all of college
Of
basketball.
course, yeah, because they win the most.
Yes. So Duke is a number 1 seed. They played earlier today against Siena, a number 16 team. And I believe in the history of the tournament, a number 16 team has beat a number 1 team, I think once. It
Hold on.
never happens.
Did you not say 64 teams in this?
Yeah, but there's 4 groups, and in each group it's 1 to 16.
Ah, all right, okay. Right, so hit me with 2 more.
Okay,
I've got.
Well, here's a 6 against 11. Louisville against South Florida.
I'm definitely picking Louisville.
You're right again.
And the reason being is I think Louisville is in Kentucky.
Very good.
And the reason I know that is, I don't know the reason why I know that, but it's just like it just runs off it just in my head. I just know Louisville, Kentucky, plus Florida literally strikes fear into me. The thoughts of Florida strikes fear into me because I just believe it might be the maddest place on earth. Go on, one more.
All right, one more for you. This is a number 5 against number 12. The number 5 seed in which conference is this? The West. Number 5 in the West, Wisconsin, played number 12, High Point.
I would definitely pick Wisconsin. All right, and I'll tell you why. They probably lost. I don't care. The reason I'm only giving you the reason why I picked them. Wisconsin comes up quite a bit in. I watched Gold Rush Recovery with Freddie Dodge and Juana Barra. Okay, and they've been in Wisconsin quite a few times, and it's one of my favorite programs. So yeah, that's why I would have picked Wisconsin.
Well, so far, that is the only upset. So far, that is the only top-seeded team that has lost to a lower-placed team. High Point.
But you know me reasoning here. You know me reasoning here. This is what's going to happen.
Well, it could get you through. I was trying to tell you last night on the Kelshi Poly Market, they've taken up the torch of offering $1 billion to anybody that can pick a perfect NCAA Final Four bracket, because
which means they have 64 teams.
Yeah, you got to pick 63 games correctly.
Yeah, so 32, and then 16, then 8, then 4, then 2. Yeah, then 1. Yeah.
It's almost impossible. So we dropped the ball, but I'll try to find one of those, and then maybe we can throw it out on the YouTube channel, and people can play if they want to. You mentioned the Champions League, Gav. It was a fantastic pair of ties in the round of 16 in the Champions League. Goals everywhere. Goals. Maybe not Arsenal, but everywhere else.
The thing that stood out for me in it all was just how ridiculous some of the fucking goals the teams were giving away. You know, like the poor fella off Spurs, like Kinski, just can't kick a football. Like, just loses the ability to kick a football. And not even one way you go. Like, I remember when Simon Mignolet used to play for Liverpool, and when he kicked the ball, I always remember a good mate of mine, Brenzy, saying, when he kicks it, it just sounds like the ball is burst. He can't kick the ball properly, right? And it wasn't even down to him. He went to kick it really far, and he didn't. He went to just pass a ball 15 yards to his right or left, and he was just falling over. And, you know, he gives away a lot. Chelsea then decide, well, here, hold my beer, I'll show you how this fucking works. You know, Bayern Munich stroll through. Liverpool obviously win their second leg 4-0 and go through. So a really contentious penalty they get to make a 1-1 in Bayern in Leverkusen, but I think they fairly dominate the second leg, and they're just boring people into submission, Arsenal. And I think they have a great chance of winning everything, to be fair, because I think teams might submit to it. The only teams I would look at in the Champions League that might stop that, in my opinion, would be Bayern Munich or PSG. But yeah, look, we're talking about making up brackets and making up things. I think UEFA will be quite happy with who they have left in this. When you consider, like, you know, all right, Sporting Lisbon, you always want somebody that's a bit of an outsider in there, because it helps them say, well, look who's getting through, and look
Bodo Glimt would have been the perfect Cinderella story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they absolutely collapsed. They had a 3-0 lead from playing at home on the artificial turf, and they went to Lisbon and they got spanked 5-0.
To be fair, they concede a penalty late on for 3-3, and then they lose in extra time. But if you look at it, like you've got Arsenal, who have Sporting Lisbon in the next round. You've Liverpool against
They played
PSG.
the winner. Well, Arsenal and Sporting, they're on the side of the bracket. They play the winner of Barcelona, Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, and
I
Liverpool are.
got to give commiserations to Newcastle. It was 1-1 Newcastle in the first leg against Barcelona. They played so well. They're 1-0 up late, and then there's a penalty. It's 1-1, and they go back to Barcelona. Barcelona, the big favorites to go through. And the first half of that was a ding dong.
There was no defending. It was just like, let's see who can score the most. But on that, you've got Arsenal or Sporting now against Barcelona or Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
And then on the Liverpool side of the draw, it's Liverpool or PSG against Bayern or Real Madrid. Yeah. So it's like, when you look at the teams that are left in there, there's big sides in there, and the UEFA will be absolutely thrilled with themselves. Veranda Cheese reckons Barcelona will beat Bayern in the final.
I think that Barcelona team are going to cause Arsenal some trouble if the next round plays out how you kind of expect it. If you expect Barcelona to get through against Atletico Madrid, I expect Arsenal to get through quite easily against Sporting. I think just the speed with which Barcelona showed they can just go from back to front, and the individual skill of some of those players. Like, I don't watch a lot of Lamine Yamal. I can never remember which name starts with the L and which one starts with the Y.
Lamine Yamal.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I'm never going to learn it. I probably should, because he's probably going to end up winning about 10 Ballon d'Ors in a row. Like, he's an outrageously talented player. And I think he can cause the backline of Arsenal a little bit of trouble. And if the way that UEFA is going to referee the games, like we saw in the Liverpool game against Galatasaray last night, the disallowed goal late on in that game from a corner where there was absolutely no foul committed by the Liverpool player on the Galatasaray goalkeeper. And yet they called it as a foul. It went to video review and they upheld the call on the field. And you're looking, if that's the case, Arsenal, one of their big ways home is through set pieces. Now, I know Eze scored a wonderful goal to make it 1-0 in that tie and effectively ended. But I think that if UEFA is going to be a little bit more strict,
they're definitely going to be,
with fouling and blocking in the box and stuff like that, I think that could just open the door enough for Bayern to do well. On the other side of the draw, who do you like in the Bayern Real Madrid, and how confident are you of Liverpool against PSG?
PSG will be Liverpool. Let's not get it twisted. I think the Barca or the Bayern Real Madrid one is a difficult one, because Real Madrid haven't looked at their best in this competition.
And Thibaut Courtois is out for the next 2 months.
Yeah, and they dispatched City fairly handy, even forgetting the red card to Silva. They dispatched them fairly handy, and it's all muscle memory with these teams, particularly PSG from last year, Real Madrid in particular, even Barcelona. When they get into, they just have this club mentality. Bayern Munich probably a little bit to a lesser extent, but Bayern Munich have a lot of goals in them. To me, I think it'll be. I think the Real Madrid Bayern Munich one is probably the hardest one to choose. Genuinely, I think it's the hardest one to choose. But having said that, I think PSG beat either of them in the semi-final. Yeah. I think PSG are one of the best balanced sides in this. I think they're willing to defend if they have to, but I think they'll kill you if they get a chance.
And like, not only do they have those absolute killers up front, like the fact that in the first leg they had Kavica Kvaratskhelia to bring off of the bench at like 65 minutes, and he just ripped Chelsea to shreds. Now, granted, Chelsea were cutting themselves to help with that process, but to have Bradley Barcola, Desiree Due, Ousmane Dembele, and Kvaratskhelia. So one of them is going to be coming on fresh later in the
Yeah.
game. But for me, it's that midfield that they have. Like Joao Neves and Vitinha are such good players.
Yeah.
They're so understated in their game. They're not like big personalities out on the pitch. They're not even big physically out on the pitch.
No,
But they get around. They do.
They get around. They win ball. They keep ball.
Yeah.
They set tempos. They back their forwards up. They chip in with goals. I just think they're probably one of the best balanced sides. But listen, we're saying this, and in a couple of weeks' time, when these games come up, we could be sitting here going, "What the fuck happened there?" Because
Liverpool win 3-0 on aggregate over the two.
It could be something because you never know. The Champions League always throws up something. Staying on football, I know you really liked the Celtic Rangers Simply the Best fiasco.
It's why I wanted to talk about. So it works great talking about the Champions League and you mentioning that muscle memory that certain teams have. That's champions behavior, just knowing how to be a champion. Like Real Madrid just have that. I don't know how the genetic code of that football club just knows how to win in the Champions League. It doesn't seem to matter who the players are. If you put that shirt on and that anthem plays and you walk across the touchline and it's a Champions League game, especially in the knockout rounds, being a member of Real Madrid somehow means that your game just goes up a level. I agree. PSG haven't been their dominant. Usually they have the French league wrapped up mathematically by this point of the tournament. And now it's still very much in the balance. Like they're going to have a very important game in between the two legs against Liverpool, against Lens, to potentially be a title decider in the French league. But they just know that the players that play for Bayern Munich, winning trophies year after year, that's championship behavior. Fan behavior can go from one end to the other. So I saw it was an Old Firm derby. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before in the Scottish League Cup.
Yeah, because it was the Scottish FA Cup, and Celtic fans do not consider it the Old Firm anymore.
Sorry, the New Firm derby.
It's just Celtic and Rangers they call it now.
Oh wow.
Because as far as they're concerned, Rangers Football Club as an entity died in 2012 and came back as...
They were put into administration?
Yes, and they came back as Newco, I think they were called at the time. Rangers Newco. So Celtic don't consider the Old Firm derby as dead since about 14 years ago, which really roils the Rangers fans. Because
how do you feel about that?
To be fair, I'm from Ireland, so I should automatically be like Celtic. Look, if I'm watching the game, I'd like Celtic to win it, because of their roots and stuff like that. But it's not something I've ever attached myself to. I just can't. I like the madness of it. I like the madness of it, of the Celtic Rangers stuff. Look, the religious stuff is what it is. You're never going to stop it. But when it comes down to Celtic Rangers, I wouldn't stop me day to watch it. Whereas there's loads of people in Ireland massively support Celtic as their side. I love the shithousery involved. I'm not gonna lie. Like I just thought the fact that Celtic decided that they're going to go into Rangers ground now, and there's been massive rows for the last few years over away allocations. So it went from Celtic and Rangers giving each other about 7,500 tickets. Yeah, there was a number put on it anyway. I think it was about 7,000 or whatever. And then that went from that down to zero because they had a big argument over, where the fans were put and how many we can have and stuff like that. Rangers ground holds about 50,000. Celtics holds about 60,000. There might have been something around percentages, and Celtic were like, no. You're not getting fucking 10% to 60. Well, we get 10% to 50. What we'll do is give us a number, and we both do the same. And whatever went on. I'm not really 100% up on it. But there was a big row, and it went to nothing for a good few games. It was nice, and it was like, what are you doing, lads? The best, And then Rangers fans were like, well, when we give them their seats, they can be seen on the telly all the time, and their seats are very barely seen because the camera's on that side, and it just got ridiculous, but funny at the same time.
But
And
the simply the best thing is what made me think of this. So when they played
well, the
in the
simply the
Scottish
best thing,
Cup,
yeah, because the simply the best thing used is Rangers took this on so long ago, and sang "We're simply the best, better than all the rest," and Tina Turner, etc., etc., etc. And Celtic used to go into that ground, and when this song came on, and 45,000 Rangers fans, would go absolutely berserk singing this song. Celtic would throw beach balls around and do whatever they could, but
yeah,
Celtic just
boo and
decided,
whistle and try to
why,
drown it out.
why are we just fucking, why don't we just sing it ourselves and see what happens?
It's
And it's absolutely,
brilliant.
when I seen it, but the big thing about it is that it's not even the singing of it; it's the build up to it. So they done it. So just to go back to the other thing, that they went from these amount of thousands in the away end to nobody, and then it went to like, oh, we can have 500 each, and then they had discussions, and then they go right. But the problem was meeting in the cup. There's rules in place for the cup, so you have to give X amount. So Celtic have to get these tickets, right?
Yeah.
And it just coincided with bigger crowds being let in to watch. I think they're probably up to 3,000 each or something now at this stage. They'll get back up to eventually the 6,000 or 7,000, right? And but the best thing about it was Celtic went there twice in a week, and what they do is Celtic know when this song's going to come on, right? It's usually before they come out of the tunnel. So what Celtic do is, instead of Rangers being all, here comes the song, it's kind of worn off. Probably Rangers are just used to it. So Celtic standing the end away and with their hands are going, whoa, waiting. And as soon as the first note hits, they go absolutely fucking insane. They're jumping around like they've scored the winning goal in the European Cup final. There's ticker tape everywhere. Everyone's jumping around, swinging flags, and then they just start singing. But they sing like all the words. So Rangers thought, oh, I know what we do. We'll play the full song. And Celtic were like, fantastic. If this can last even longer, it's fantastic. So Rangers have no way around this. You know what I mean?
They're
Other
gonna
than
have
Celtic.
to, they're gonna have to get rid of it. I think the pressure from the Rangers fans. So the video I saw was after that cup game, and the Celtic fans were being kept in the stadium so that they could get the Rangers fans away. And it just seemed like they sang Simply the Best on repeat for like an hour. And they were having the best time.
Well, I didn't see that one. I seen loads of different ones where they're singing and there's like Rangers fans leaving the ground like and shouting at them and give gestures, and the Celtic fans are having a wonderful time. But like that's standard when you like in Ireland, even here in big games in the league here, fans will be kept in for so long and stuff like that. And you have a great, if you've won, especially if you've won away and you're being held in, you have a fucking fantastic time. But like there was Rangers fans on radio stations going, don't play the fucking song. And they're like, mate, we've played this for like 30 odd years. Don't play it. These pricks are having too much fun, right? And I thought it was brilliant, to be fair.
Yeah, it's just taking their song that they're trying to adopt as their club song and just embracing it even more to the point where it makes them go, well, now I don't want to do it anymore, is such a brilliant way of counteracting, as away fans, counteracting that home advantage. But I just wanted to ask you if there's any fan behaviors that you're either a big fan of or that you absolutely detest. Because I can pepper a few things at you and just let me know.
Well,
how you
okay,
feel.
right. So I'll tell you what I detest.
Yeah.
I have major hang-ups on Ryder Cups in the US because of the crowd. Right. I think they're absolutely not all of them, but I think it attracts fucking Amadons to the fucking.
Well, and especially because you, as a big time golf fan, you hold the Ryder Cup in very high esteem.
Oh, the Ryder Cup is the biggest tournament in golf.
Yeah.
By a fucking mile. And people can go on about the Open and they go on about the Masters and they go on about the US Open and the PGA, and the Ryder Cup is the pinnacle of golf. End of story. Right? Because every fucking player wants to play in it. right? Yes, they want to play in the majors, but as a team sport, I think it's the biggest thing in golf. I genuinely do, and
I
and,
think
and I'll
it's
tell you
very
why. I,
exclusionary because where do the Canadians play? Where does VJ Singh get to play?
well, you see, that's the thing. That's where
Yeah,
isn't it a President's Cup or something that they play, and they play the rest of the world and stuff like that.
yeah. It's
Um,
just unfair. That's like calling yourself world champion, but there's only certain parts of the world that are involved. But
yeah,
I get it. How do you feel about because that golf fan behavior is a very touchy subject, I feel, where there's kind of a split between old school, more conservative minded golf fans and then some of the new school. How do you
yeah.
feel about the waste management?
But the media play a massive part in this because, right? So, look, the Ryder Cup, I would say, I'd say till about 20 years ago, the Ryder Cup was very much a gentleman's
Hmm.
fucking event. I think it really kicked off for me in the Belfry in 2004 when Paul McGinley for Ireland holds the winning putt. Right, 2006. It goes back to America. I can't remember if they win in 2006. They might, and they come back then. No, sorry, 2002 was the Belfry. 2004 it goes back to America, and I think Europe win it. 2006 is in Ireland in the K Club. And that's a massively emotional one because Darren Clark, the Irish player, had lost his wife to cancer the previous month, and he got picked on the team, and he comes and plays. How he does it, I don't fucking know. But from 2002 with the Belfry, it becomes a audience participation sport.
Hmm.
Is how I would put it. But the difference between European fans and the Americans is the European fans like to make noise at the right times. They cheer for their team. They'll clap for the Americans if there's a good shot. They'll kind of, if someone puts her in the water, all that sort of stuff. But what's happened with the Americans is, and I think it's down to them losing the vast majority of Ryder Cups over the last 20 years, is that it becomes vicious from them. Like, I remember watching the Ryder Cup in 2016, right? And honestly, the amount of times guys were being shouted at the top of their backswing was outrageous. Like, outrageous. There was guys just walking around courses shouting shit.
And
But
that's not cricket, is it? Like you can't whether you want
no,
to
like,
be a
but
vicious fan or not, you don't shout in a guy's backswing.
no, you can't. But the thing is, like, but the media played into this because as soon as it was Bethpage and it was on the East Coast, it was in New York State, isn't it? It's the media played into it. Oh, an East Coast Ryder Cup, the crowd are going to be fucking feral, blah, 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 blah. So it plays into it. There's a crowds are going, oh, they expect us to be feral, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know when the next fucking Ryder Cup's going to happen on the East Coast of America, all because they played up Bethpage like it was fucking going to be absolutely
Thunderdome.
bananas. And it was. I detest it. I don't get me wrong. I love a bit of banter, and I like if someone hits a bad shot and you're going, oh, you fucking idiot, and and cheering and stuff like that. But when it gets down to people swinging on or shouting on backswings and shouting personal abuse at people at golf, I think what you don't need it. That's something I detest when it comes to sports fans. It's probably the only one I can think of.
I probably should have seen that coming. But my question I got in there because you were firing up, and I should have known it was coming. How do you feel about that? The antics of the crowd at the Waste Management, because it is famous for being like a frat party.
Yeah, and that's been extended, hasn't it? Because when Live came in, Live have made that kind of a thing in all their stuff, in all their tournaments. They'll find a par three for everyone to go mad. I like it, and I think the reason being is because people will tell you golf is a snob sport. It's not. It's never been more affordable to play golf. It's simple as that, right? And it's never been more affordable to play golf ever.
Fuck, I don't know where you're playing golf, man.
Well,
Holy
I can
shit,
tell
it's
you,
expensive
I can
over
tell you, like, if you want to play golf, if you want to be a member of a golf club in Dublin, you're probably playing on average probably 30 to 40 quid a week, right? Okay,
there. That's so cheap.
yeah. So if you're
You're
paying,
you're paying you're paying like probably 3 grand, maybe up to 5,000 in my city to play at a good decent to good golf course.
As a member for the year.
And it's not a year. You're probably not playing your first round until
You're probably getting 4 months of golf. Yeah.
You're getting May, June, July, August, and then once it comes to September, like, how do you feel about playing golf with gloves and a toucan? You're wearing long johns because it's starting to get cold out, and the days get super short. Your final tee time when you get to September, and maybe if there's no snow on the ground and the courses stay open into October, your final tee time might be 3 p.m. to finish around while there's still enough sunlight for it. So, over here, the cost of golf is incredible. Like, to just walk onto a course and play around. My wife and I went out and we played around at a what is it? It's a par 68, I think. So lots of par threes on it. I think there's only 2 par fives on the whole course, few par fours, but there's like 10 or 12 par threes. So almost half of it is a par 3 golf course. And I think for the two of us to play around and rent a power cart was almost $200 Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, this is not a great course.
Yeah. Well, no, to be fair, like if you're probably paying 40 or 50 quid a week max, and you're in a good golf club. You're in a really decent golf club. But what were we talking about before the price of golf?
The waste management and
the waste management. Yeah. So it comes across as this, and golf needs to lighten up. I'm not saying I just don't like the disrespect. You know what I mean? I think when there's an atmosphere to happen in golf, you can make an atmosphere. People walking to the tee, people walking off the tee, people walking towards the green, people walking off the green. Loads of opportunity for atmosphere. Football. When does the atmosphere happen? Well, when the game's on. And probably just before it, probably a little bit after. But at halftime, everybody fucks up and has a drink. They don't all stand there and go, let's keep the atmosphere going, because why? We're all going for a fucking drink. I don't mind the waste management thing. I really, really don't. And to be fair, they need to start letting golfers on the PGA Tour wear shorts if they want to wear shorts playing golf. It needs to lighten up a little bit. It needs to just.
But when you're playing in like Florida in July in that humidity and stuff like that, like, you're forcing these guys to wear pants.
Yeah.
Where would the line be for you in terms of the level of abuse? Because when you were telling me about the Ryder Cup there, I'm thinking, I don't think I'm against that. Like, as long as it's not personal. Like, I don't want to see a guy being like, hey, Darren Clark, I'm happy your wife died of cancer a month ago. That's over the line. Like, that goes back to the first episode we did of that love and hate divide. And if you can keep it
and to be fair,
on a guy.
To be fair on Darren Clark, the American team at the time were unbelievable towards Darren Clark. Like, sensational. He plays Zach Johnson on the last day. Okay? He's 3 up going down 16. He hits a putt to win, doesn't get it. Zach Johnson then has a putt to win the hole, doesn't get it. So he knows a half is going to end it. Zach Johnson is inches away from the hole. He's given the putt, and he looks at Darren Clark and goes, pick it up. I'm not even going to make you play another hole. And just says, pick it up. And gives him the biggest hug, the longest hug, talks in his ear. The captain of America, who his name escapes me now, he comes over and spends time with Darren Clark. They're sensational towards Darren Clark. And in fairness, these Ryder Cup players play each other. They're all over each other. They're fucking trying to beat each other. And then they're playing in the TGL league the following week. You know what I mean? Or they're playing somewhere. So they're massive friends. Like Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy. Justin Thomas will be, I think, the main man for America in terms of his stature and how much he gets into it. And Rory McIlroy is the main man for Europe. They live about fucking probably a kilometre away from each other. They play golf nearly every day with each other in Jupiter, in Florida. They're such good friends. But in that, it's like, no, it's a bit like if I went out and played you. I'm a really good friend of yours, but when the match play starts, you're like, oh, I want to fucking get this putt, or I want to get this chip, or I want to hit a good drive. And that's the nature of sport. But when it comes down to the Ryder Cup, I actually hate American-based Ryder Cups. I just can't stand it.
I think that if you can keep it when somebody's about to take a stroke, I just think that's just one of those rules that everybody should know that you have to abide by. That you don't scream when somebody's about to take a stroke. But if a guy's walking up the fairway after taking their drive, I think that should be fair game for, especially in a competition like the Ryder Cup, where it gets you that nationalistic,
Yeah, yeah,
rivalry of just,
yeah.
we're America. I want to see them being like, hey, fuck you, Rory, and trying to get in the players' heads, because I do think that the fans in the stadium can actually impact a game if a player lets them. So another question I wanted to ask you about is, how do you feel about fans booing an opposition player?
Oh no, like in football.
In any sport, but I know you're a football fan.
Oh, like I'm all for it.
Yeah, because the case in point is Raheem Sterling, in his time at Manchester City, quite clearly was affected by the boos when he came back to play at Anfield.
Yeah,
He was dreadful
yeah, but
for
it'd be like,
City at
yeah,
Anfield.
but you know where the line's drawn. The line's drawn is if someone walks into, Anfield and turns around and shouts something racist, racially abuses Raheem Sterling, then
Yeah.
the people around them will go, well, hold on a minute.
Well,
We're
that was
giving,
Antoine Semenyo, the first game of the season
yeah,
this
we're
year,
giving
where
him as
the
much, we're giving
fan
him as
was
much
immediately
abuse as we
ejected.
can because he's left their club and gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
But you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
And what happens is sports fans self-police, right?
Or they
And
should.
well, they should, and the majority do. But when it comes to the Ryder Cup, I don't think they do, because I think, especially when it's in America, it's all about attention. And if they get the attention, it's great. Now, they've clamped down on it massively since, because I've seen influencers on golf courses asking people to shout stuff, and then the influencer and that person gets fucked off the golf course, which I'm okay with, because first of all, if you're an influencer going to golf and asking people to shout stuff on your behalf so you can video it, fuck off.
Yeah.
Dylan says, I hate the bubbles West Ham let out before kickoff. And Veranda Cheese says, I played against West Ham in my FIFA career the other night, and for the first 5 minutes, the screen was covered in bubbles. So there you go.
They are forever blowing them, so
They
it
are.
does make
It's
sense.
forever going on.
I don't mind that. See, that's like, it's part of the European soccer culture that I desperately wish that we had more of over here in North American sports, is the singing.
Yeah, the
You know,
MLS singing is outrageous, though.
All you get is like defense. Like,
I believe that we can win. It's fucking amazing.
it's horrible. So like the fact that clubs have these anthems, and like, I mean, the Rangers one being co-opted is absolutely hilarious. But like, I don't think that would work if the Everton fans tried to out sing Liverpool fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" before the match. That actually works with the song. I don't think you could go to the London Stadium and try to sing their "Forever Blowing Bubbles" song and get it to the point where West Ham fans would be like, "Well, we don't want to do that anymore." Like, that's I really like that. But something I do not like, Gap, at all, is the fucking guy with the drum or the bullhorn at the front of the fans. I'm okay if you have a conductor there that wants to go like with Liverpool, it's very organic. It comes from the cop, where that core cadre of fans sit. So the games that I've been to, the 2 out of the 3 games, I've sat on the opposite end of the field in the Anfield Road end. And you have to wait and hear what the cop is singing. And then you got to try to time up your response so that you're all singing the song or the chant in.
Not so much anymore. I think the Anfield Road have become brilliant at doing shit themselves.
But I haven't been in it since it's been expanded.
Well,
I haven't.
Since it's been expanded, you've an awful lot of scousers in there that were on waiting lists for season tickets, and they're making it a pretty good place to be. It's the drum. Well, you see, when you look at it, when you look at MLS, and you look at the fella with the drum, and you look at the guy with the bell, and you look at the guy with the fucking the what you call loudspeaker, the megaphone.
Yeah.
Well, the megaphone thing comes from the ultras across in continental Europe.
Well, see, I think there's a difference there, because
that's where they think they're getting it from.
Yeah, but I'm okay with the
Italy
MLS fans doing that, because they need to build that culture.
Yeah.
So I get it. You've got the guys with the drums, and you've got that section of the stadium. That's your ultras, ultras in fucking air quotes sort of thing. But it's clubs like PSG, and you see these other big European clubs where you've got a guy there and he's just banging a fucking like, you've got a voice. Use your voice. Just make it loud.
Yeah. Well, you see, you end up, remember that they woke up in South Africa, the vuvuzelas, which were fucking
Loved them.
horrendous.
Loved
Oh, they
them.
were
I
horrendous.
loved the
It was
Vuvuzelas.
like, it was literally like fucking just constant. Verandis Chase says, I disagree. A good drum in a noisy crowd sounds very good and very popular in South American matches and would sound weird without it. I think it depends what way the chants are going. You know, like you go to Germany, they do have a drum, but it's just a constant thing. And the Germans have this thing where they just keep singing the same thing over and over again, where it literally becomes white noise. You don't even realise it. I think the English are the best at. I think the English crowds, Scottish crowds, that UK crowds, I suppose, they have variety to what they're doing. And then you have the South Americans are the best by a fucking country mile at it, because they have fucking brilliant songs where there's no clapping, there's no fucking drums, there's fuck all. It's just them pointing their hand at the fucking pitch and shouting shit all in unison, and it's incredible. The only thing I would say is I do have a problem with football teams that pretend to be deadly at supporting teams and leave no songs. Arsenal are definitely one. They just take everything that Liverpool do and make it their own version of it. And Leeds United. Leeds United have the worst repertoire of songs that's ever going on. Marching on together, we are Leeds, we are Leeds, we are Leeds. Terrible. Just telling you.
Yeah. See, the Arsenal thing is, it's such, for being an unquestionably big club, taking your songs almost exclusively, it seems like, from Liverpool.
Yeah.
Is such a small club mentality to do, because like the Ale 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 song that became the chorus of the 17, 18, 18, 19 and subsequent Champions League runs from Liverpool was, without any argument, taken from the away trip to Porto. That was a song that the Porto fans sung. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go on European adventures and bring back the fashion, bring back a song, and make it your own. You change the lyrics to it. You don't just take the Federico Chiesa song and plug and play Eberize Eze's name in it and then take a cheap shot at Spurs. And it's like, what the fuck? You like? That's such a small club mentality. Another small club mentality thing, and I can't wrap my head around this, is why did City fans stop doing the Poznan? Because they went to Poland, they got Poznan and went, well, this is brilliant. We're going to do this. And they did it for 3 or 4 years, and then they stopped.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
To be fair. The Poznan is decent. But I still think one of my favourite things is when I come across MLS songs. And like I remember seeing one video. Oh, I believe that we can win is obviously, and your man's going fucking bananas. Like his eyes are gonna pop out of his head behind the goal. But then there was other ones like the Seattle Ultras in the pub before the game, and it was like the most fucking generic, relaxed fucking. It was like they were going to start doing flower arranging in between songs. It was fucking amazing. But that sort of stuff makes me laugh a lot. So I don't ever want to lose that.
Yeah, I do feel for them. Like when I was still living out east in Hamilton, they have a team that's in the Canadian Premier League, so that would be a big step below the MLS.
Yeah.
But it's the hometown team. So they're getting maybe 2,000 fans out to every one of their game, but they have a very good core. They got a good 200 people that go to the matches because it's dead cheap. Like you can get a family pack season tickets for like a couple $100 because they're just desperate to get the people in there. And so it's a steel city. It's a sister city of Sheffield. Like it had steel plants and stuff like that. So that there's a guy, he's like banging a hammer off of an I-beam or something, some shit that.
Who's the team in America in the MLS that when they win, they score, they start fucking cutting logs?
That would be the Portland Timbers.
Yeah, unbelievable. Carry on. So
it's that you need to do something because the MLS has such an uphill battle. Like it's not like they're starting from an even playing field with the other major sports. Like those other major sports have 100-year head start on the MLS. And there's a real big cultural, looking down your nose at the sport of soccer in Canada and the United States that doesn't exist everywhere else in the world. Like, why would you ever possibly watch this game? So I'm okay giving those clubs a pass because they have to work so hard. And I mean, I guess technically you should throw PSG into that mix because they're only, 50 years old or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
They
yeah,
are
yeah.
a fairly new club, but like it's just there's so many things that I wish, like college football, which is one of the topics that we've discussed on this show, they somewhat have it. They don't sing the songs, but every school brings their band. So you get a full marching band, and
Well, Veranda
each
Cheese says
college
there.
has a song.
The Veranda Cheese says there, Matt, you need to watch the NBA fans compared to the European basketball fans, especially the Greeks. It's insane.
Well,
So if you go and watch
NBA fans are
I think Olympiacos and Panathinaikos have
yeah,
basketball teams,
yeah.
and like genuinely, I think half the football ultras go in with flares and smoke bombs into the fucking arena and just start letting them off when someone gets a 3-pointer. Like it's fucking insane. Like you know what I mean? There's just no
It's
end to it.
the NBA. Their fans are, especially the ones that you can see on the TV broadcast, because being front row at an NBA game is such a status thing that
Hmm.
there's no real atmosphere that you get from regular match going NBA fans. Like there aren't ultras for the Portland Trailblazers or the Indiana Pacers or something like that.
Yeah.
Like during the playoffs when there's a good game going on, you'll get a good atmosphere and stuff like that. But it's way too showbiz in the front row. And it's the same issue you have with baseball where again, those seats behind home plate are so fucking expensive. Like if you want to sit behind home plate at Yankee Stadium, it's probably $5,000 for a ticket.
Well,
Like it's a
um,
status thing. But the atmosphere comes in the nosebleeds, in the outfield. So the
yeah,
one thing they have in baseball that a lot of fans have taken up on, which is if the visiting team hits a home run, you throw the ball back onto the field. Normally you get to keep the ball. So any ball that goes out of play in baseball, that's yours to keep. It's not like in soccer where you have to throw the ball back.
yeah,
They come with 300 balls to a baseball game.
yeah.
So if you hit a foul ball, you catch that, congratulations. There's a nice souvenir for you. You know, give it to a little kid. It makes their day. You get on TV being the nice guy that gives
Yeah.
a ball to a little kid. But yeah, you see this now where the opposition team hits a home run and the guy catches it in the stands and then he's like, fuck you, and just whips it back onto the field. Love it. Love it.
So Dylan says, I had to go and find an MLS chant there. There's a fella with a full-on karaoke mic in the crowds, facing the wrong way, shouting, come on Seattle, fight and win. But he's wearing a Christmas scarf and it's all very panto. That's the one. That's the guy that's going bananas, isn't it? His eyes nearly popping out. He's with the...
Yeah.
I can vision him now.
It's not a good look, but I get it from them. I get it that they're really, especially the ones in Seattle, because the Seattle Seahawks NFL team have this, I think, self-given moniker that they're the loudest fans in the NFL. You know, we've got the loudest fans.
Oh, they
in
do
the
the
NFL.
decibel thing, don't they?
Exactly. Oh, it gets up to 100 decibels. And before the match, they have a celebrity or like an ex-player or something go up. And I think they've got like an air raid siren. And the guy fucking crying, and, you know, everybody. So the Seattle soccer team is like, well, fuck, we got to, you know, match what the football team is doing. So it's Dylan O'Rourke mentioned, and I wanted to ask you about this so much. Tierno Barry, you know the story?
No.
Okay.
But I tell you what, I did
Barry,
see. So what I did see was I seen a statement from him saying, "This is my state." I don't know whether it was an updated statement or I think it might have been an updated statement. And he was like, "Lads, like I think it was his family and friends were in the crowd. They get accused of supporting Arsenal, cheering Arsenal goals, and then it just turns into an all-out fucking mall."
Yes. So it was Everton. Everton were away at Arsenal
Correct.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Tierno Barry plays for Everton,
Mm-hmm.
sourced out some tickets amongst the Everton fans for some of his friends. I believe it was his friends. And his friends were all Arsenal supporters. So already, it's if you don't know how that away fan segregating works, which again, if you don't follow soccer, you don't know about it. We don't segregate fans over here. They just all mix and mill together and you wear whatever colors you want. There's very few places where that's dangerous. Philadelphia would probably be one of those places where it's like, hey, don't wear opposition colors if you're sitting amongst Eagles fans. Like, you'll probably get the shit kicked out of you. So his buddies were apparently wearing Arsenal jerseys underneath their jackets, sitting amongst all the Everton fans, celebrating when Arsenal score and celebrating when Arsenal won. And apparently, the Everton fans sitting around him didn't take that too kindly and kicked the shit out of him. Thoughts?
Like, what are you doing? Fucking jumping around, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if Barry, Tiamo Barry, is that his name? Is that the way you pronounce it?
Yeah.
If Tiamo Barry is giving these to his mates, surely he doesn't. Surely he turns around and goes, "Lad, listen, I'm giving you a few tickets. I know you support Arsenal, but rein a fucking in amongst the fucking away supporters. Because if it gets out that I've given you these tickets and you're Arsenal fans, I'm going to be made look a fucking dickhead. But thanks for coming to watch me. I know you want to come to watch me, and the only way I can let you do that is in the Everton end. But you can't go jumping around the fucking place. You can't. It'd be like someone going into the Cop or a Man United jersey and jumping up and down when they scored. They're not getting out alive. You know.
It's like yelling in a guy's backswing on a golf course. There's just certain things you do not do. If you're going to be undercover...
Dylan said they took off their jackets to celebrate the late Arsenal goal.
It's almost asking to get fucking punched in the face.
Yeah, like, to me, that's winding people up. That's actually
that's
just
provocative.
Winding people up. Yeah. It is provocative. Yeah. Provocative, is that the word? Yeah. Provocation, yeah. Provocative feels a bit like they're wearing lace underwear. But anyway, let me see. There was one other thing there. Fran the Cheese asked, what college team has 100,000 seat stadium and comes out to enter Sandman?
I'm not sure which one comes out to enter Sandman, but there is, I think, a half a dozen college
they're
way
bigger than the NFL. They're way bigger than the NFL stadiums.
Oh, massive. Penn State is over 100,000. I believe the Big House, Michigan, is over 100,000. I think LSU might be 100,000. Like Ohio State. Like, it's huge. College football is a much more supported sport than the NFL. And I'm totally there for it because the best thing for me, in my personal opinion of how I am a sports fan about college sports, is that you can't support a player. You can't. The most they can play for your team.
It's Virginia Tech.
Virginia
Tech.
Virginia Tech. That's not even a huge stadium. That's not even a huge state. And yet 100K stadium, pack it out for 7-8 home games a year. Yeah. We should move on, Gav. I'm sure I will think of more fan behavior. I didn't get around to what I wanted to talk about, and that is people that go to sports to not watch sports, which drives me fucking mental, and people that do the wave, because I think all those things are just absolute cardinal sins. But you have a story that you got recommended to you by your friend Neely.
Yeah.
I know absolutely nothing about this, and I cannot wait. Pins and needles, Gav.
Okay, so if I said to you, right, and this will probably round us off, and we'll finish up on this with, this is a story, and I do these every week, and I usually find them every week, or you throw one at me, and this time Neely's throwing at me. And if I said to you, Albert Ernest Clifford Young, does it mean anything to you?
Albert Ernest Clifford Young. Al Young. Nope. Nothing.
Okay. So, Albert Ernest Clifford Young, or Albert, let's call him Albert from here on out, okay, was born, sorry, I have a bad cough. He was born on the 8th of February, 1922, okay, and he was from Beach Forest, Victoria in Australia, okay. He was born the eldest son and the third of 7 children to Mary and Albert Ernest Young on the 8th of February 1922. He grew up on a farm in Beach Forest, as I said, southwestern Victoria in Australia. The family farm had 2,000 acres with approximately 2,000 sheep. As a child, Young helped round up the stock on foot, as the family were very poor during the Great Depression and could not afford horses. He was a vegetarian from 1973 until his death.
I know who you're talking about. Keep going.
Right, okay. He lived at the family home with his mother and brother Sid. Cliff had never married, but in 1983, at 62 years of age, he married 23-year-old Mary Howell.
I'm sorry.
West,
What age was he when he married this
he was
22-year-old?
62. She was 23. Okay. A a shopping outlet called Westfield hosted the wedding for the entertainment of shoppers. Young and Hell divorced 5 years later. All right. Now, sounds like, right, who the fuck is this fella? Let me tell you about him. Right. In 1979, at the age of 56, he competed in the Adidas Sun Super Run 16 kilometres, 9.9 miles race, which crossed the Westgate Bridge in Melbourne. He ran the race in a very respectable 64 minutes and was interviewed by the media. That was at 56 years of age. He then ran the Melbourne Marathon with a time of 3 hours and 21 in 1979. He would go on to compete in 1980, 1981 and 1982, setting a personal best of 3 hours, 2 minutes in 1980, aged 58. Okay? In late 1982, after training for months around the Otway Ranges, Young attempted to break New Zealander Siegfried Ziggy Powers' then world record for 1,000 miles of 11 days and 23 hours. The attempt took place in Colacs Memorial Square. Young had to abandon the world record attempt just after halfway at 805 kilometres. Reflecting on the failed attempt, Young wrote that he and his support team are inexperienced and ill-prepared. In 1983, now aged 61, Young was the inaugural Westfield Sydney to Melbourne ultra marathon winner, a distance of 875 kilometres. The race was run between what was Australia's two largest Westfield shopping centres, Westfield Parramatta in Sydney and Westfield Doncaster in Melbourne. Young arrived to compete in overalls and work boots, though he ran the race in a new pair of runners somebody gave him. Without his dentures, later saying as he rattled when he ran. He ran at a slow and loping pace and trailed the pack by a large margin at the end of the first day. While the other competitors stopped to sleep for 6 hours, Young mistakenly woke up at 2 a.m., several hours ahead of them at what was intended, began running, taking the lead while the other runners slept. Young then decided to avoid sleep as a strategy and rested the race without sleeping at all, eventually finishing in fourth place 10 hours faster than the runner who came in second. Before running the race, he told the press that he had previously run for 2 to 3 days straight rounding up sheep in gum boots. He said afterwards that during the race he imagined he was running after sheep trying to outrun a storm. The Westfield run took him 5 days, 15 hours and 4 minutes, almost 2 days faster than the previous record. Okay? For any run between Sydney and Melbourne at an average speed of 6.5 kilometres per hour. All 6 competitors who finished the race broke the old record. Upon being awarded the prize of 10,000 Australian dollars, which is equivalent to 36,000 US dollars in 2022, Young said he did not know there was a prize, and he felt bad for accepting it, as each of the other 5 runners who finished had worked as hard as he did. So he gave 3,000 to 41-year-old Joe Record and 4,000 to the other runners, keeping only 3,000 for himself. Despite attempting the event again 5 years later, Young was able to repeat this performance or claim victory again. Young became very popular after this tortoise and hare feat, so much that in Colac, Victoria, the Cliff Young Australian 6-day race was established in the same year. In 1984, he was awarded the Medal of Order of Australia for long distance running. In 1997, aged 65, he made an attempt to beat Ron Grant's around Australia record. He completed 6,520 kilometres of a 16,000 kilometre run, but he had to pull out because his only crew member became ill. In 2000, Young achieved the world age record in a 6-day race in Victoria. The Young Shuffle has been adopted by some ultramarathon runners because it expands less energy. At least 3 winners of the Sydney to Melbourne race were known to use the Young Shuffle to win the race. In 2010, comedian Hannah Gadsby named their Sydney Comedy Festival the Cliff Young Shuffle in tribute. That, my friends, is Albert Ernest Clifford Young, or as he's better known, he's just known as Cliffy.
What was his best marathon time there, you said?
So his best marathon time was in 1979. He done it in 3 hours and 21. But the following year, in 1980, at the age of 58, he'd taken 19 minutes off that. 3 hours, 2 minutes, and 53.
So I don't know anything about running a marathon. It's a good marathon time is under 3 hours 50 minutes. So that's a good marathon time. 3 hours and 5 minutes, 3 hours and 2 minutes puts him into the competitive amateur range. Like it's unreal. But as soon as you mention he came from a farm with all these sheep, and it was like, this is the guy that ran in like rubber boots chasing his sheep, and there's video of him running, and he like doesn't lift his feet off the ground. It's just insane. But the strategy of being like, I'm just not going to sleep.
But the thing is, like, if you told me that this guy at 28 had done this guy was fucking 58.
Yeah.
His best time in the marathon was 3 hours and 2 minutes at the age of 58.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Incredible.
He does a 900-kilometer run and finishes 2 days before other people because he refuses to sleep.
It's genius. It's absolutely genius.
So that's this week's What the Fuck, and it is, as I said, Albert Ernest Clifford Young. And funny enough, one of the last things about him, in May 2013, ABC One broadcast Cliffy, a telemovie about Young's victorious 1983 run. The telemovie starred Kevin Harrington as Young, with his race support team played by Roy Billing as his coach Wally and Joshua Hine as Paul. Crew Boylan featured as Mary Howell. Young's mother and sister Eunice were played by former country practice stars Joan Sidney and Anne Tenney. So there you go. And plus,
I've just done a little bit of math there. You said he got married to the 23-year-old when he was 60-something. So that's after he had reached his level of fame.
Yeah.
She was after that 10K, I bet, and then he got home and was like, "Oh no, I gave most of it away to the mates." Hey, Slippy, and she's like, "I'm fucking out of here, Cliff."
They worked as fuck you, Cliff. Yeah, but apparently Young also appeared briefly as himself in one episode number 479 for the record, of the television drama Prisoner, Cell Block H. He was there as a special guest to support the prisoners who were completing a dance marathon world record attempt as part of a storyline to raise money for the Children's Deaf charity. So he's done it all the hits.
I would say, especially with that last thing of doing that work for charity, that it makes Cliff Young a very, very deserved recipient of our first ever Scott Stevens Memorial Award for goodness in sports. I think we can very confidently give the first ever Scott Stevens Memorial Award for goodness in sports to Cliff Young for not for the shuffle or the long distance running, but for helping out Prisoner Cell Block H on that episode where they had a dance marathon for charity for deaf and blind kids.
He's the Scott Stevens Award winner this week.
Yeah. We will have another Scott Stevens Award winner next week. I do want to direct people, if you haven't already, we have a separate little show that Gav and I recorded yesterday and put out this morning of Gav reacting to 10 of the biggest NHL hits of all time. If you have suggestions for like-minded videos like that we can have a reaction to, whether it's North American sports that Gav won't know anything about, or weird sports from around the world that maybe I don't know about, some GAA, some hurling, weird stuff like that, bring it on. We're open for suggestion because I don't think as of yet YouTube has taken that video down. So I think we actually managed to play by the fair use rules.
So the thing is, when you go to upload these, YouTube run over the video and then check for copyright infringements, and they come back and went, no copyright issues at all.
Jackpot. We're in like Flynn, baby.
Let's go. You know.
Yeah.
It's a good video. It was meant to be 10 minutes. It was 43.
We'll work at getting better.
No, I don't think you should. I don't think you should. I think if we need to say stuff, we need to say stuff. And if it's 30 minutes or 40 minutes, so be it. But yeah, if you have anything sport related where you can put 10 things together that are relatable to each other, you know, it might be 10 crazy tackles. It might be, you know, 10 weird
Oh,
injuries or whatever it
yeah,
might be.
bloopers, goals, tries in rugby,
Yeah,
touchdowns, whatever it is. It's
absolutely.
yeah,
Um,
it's
it could be a weird fucking sports documentary that we have to watch, or something like that, or a weird
oh,
piece of footage.
I am also open to Gav. I don't know if you have the ability to source films at will, but I would be open for having a little bit of homework and watching a sport related film and then coming back and giving our movie reviews on sports films.
Okay, no problem.
I think we could do that.
Yeah. Can we watch Tin Cup?
Oh yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever seen Tin Cup.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Wait, is that the one where he only plays with the 7-iron?
Um,
Like the
no,
one round he only plays with the 7-iron?
no, isn't Tin? I'm hope I haven't got this mixed up now. Isn't it? Is it the one where he just keeps taking the shot over the lake?
Yeah, I think that's Tin Cup.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe I have seen that. Yeah. Yeah, and his
yeah.
caddy's like, "What are you doing?" And he just keeps doing it.
Keeps
And
doing it
then,
until he gets it.
spoiler, at the climax of the movie, he makes the
Doesn't
shot over
doesn't
the lake.
Yeah, he doesn't win the US Open though. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're
it's a
open to
tough.
anything. We're open to anything.
Yeah,
If you have anything, just throw it at us, and we'll put it all together and we'll react to it and stuff like that. That's a separate thing that we're doing. We're gonna try to do
yeah.
it. We're gonna try to do that once a week along with this show that comes out. And like I said, it was Neely that gave me the guy about Cliffy. So if you have any what the fuck things, by all means, throw them at us.
I know in the comments under the reaction video, my brother suggested that you watch the Canadian Heritage Minute on Jacques Plante.
Oh, okay, right. I don't know who that is.
So it's a hockey player.
Okay, all right.
So the Canadian Heritage Minute are this thing the Canadian government put out. There's like 1,000 of them, and it's just little snippets from Canadian history, and they make a little 1-minute documentary on it.
Mm-hmm.
But Jacques Plante was a
Does it
hockey
have to be?
goaltender.
I'm only thinking now. Like, I'd love you to watch The Angelus. Okay, so The Angelus is the thing where at 6 o'clock in the evening on air television, one of we've two main TV channels, but at 6 o'clock The Angelus comes on, and it's literally a minute of bong, bong.
Every night?
Yeah, it's the bells ringing, right? It's The Angelus, but they jazzed up The Angelus. They jazzed it up where instead of it just being like, you think they'll just show like, I don't know, nice fucking scenes from around Ireland, the Cliffs of Moher, all this sort of shit. They start bringing live action into it. So like, there's a guy and he's leaning over a pool table in a pub and he's about to hit the ball, and next while it goes bang, and he like stops in his tracks and just looks up to the sky like God is calling him. It's outrageous. Do you know what I mean?
Where do you stand on the Angelus going off when somebody's in the middle of their backswing, though?
Well, you see, that's the thing. And the Ryder Cup, of course, is in Ireland the next time. It's at Adair Manor, and I think it might go down as one of the greatest golf courses on the planet at the minute. That's how good it is. And yeah, look, if someone's swinging the golf club at 6 o'clock, be prepared because it could go bong. Dylan says this channel has gone very hockey, baseball focused. When are we talking about conkers?
Well, that's a game, not a sport. So
yeah, we could talk about conkers. No problem. Do that next week. Matt,
we're
did you
have
not watch?
Some of these weeks, eventually, you're going to be the one that knows the sports, and you're going to get to bring new knowledge to me because I do like learning about a new sport.
Yeah, and Matt and Brandon says, Matt, did you not watch anything on Mo Norman? I don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Yeah, so we'll have to find out. Right.
It's Greg's brother. But yes, that's enough for us. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in and watching us and supporting the show. Again, I'll make the same call that we make every week, which is please support. I was going to say please help us get the show out there. But it's not even helping us. It's just doing the work for us. So please do all of our promotional work for us. Share the good word of I Know Sports, He's a Clown, because neither of us are going to do it. But we hit the 100 subscriber mark. That's why we brought out the reaction video. So we're picking up momentum. We're building steam, and we're just going to keep this juggernaut going on from here. Anything else before we get out of here, Gav?
Yeah, I can't remember that sponsor's name now. I keep just
Damage Control.
Damage
They're
Control.
almost dead to me.
They're almost dead. They've constantly been dead to me because I just keep thinking the word defense, and I'm like, that's not it. Defense is not the name. So what I'm going to do is, as a treat to you, okay, and all the viewers, I'm going to source a new thing for next week that I think we will push as a possible sponsor. Okay, we will not be mentioning the words of Damage Control from next week. They no longer exist. But I'm going to find something, and I'm going to bring it to the table next week. And if you agree, I'm going to get Ashley, our head of emailing people to annoy them department, and I'm going to get her to email them and say, listen, these are the real deal. Like, I want Ashley to email them and go, I cannot believe you're not all over this YouTube channel. Like, it's probably the best thing out there. I want her to be fucking absolutely delusional in the email that she sends, right? To see how far
compare us to buying Apple stock in 1990 or Bitcoin in 2012.
It's like, literally tell them that it's actually us that should have the subscribers and Mr. Beast has stolen them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something along those lines. But I want it to be absolutely delusional. Okay, maybe we could run a competition where we tell people, the company, and they can send us an email in to say this is what you should send to them. You know, something like that. But I'm going to bring it to us next week. Just let you know.
I love it. Right. I love it. Just the last thing before I go, even though there's no way he should be allowed to watch this, happy birthday to my nephew Harrison, who turned 14 today. His dad took him to go watch some of the NCAA games that are being played in Buffalo today because they love college basketball.
Go Wisconsin.
So it is the best time. Yeah, that's well, Wisconsin's now out, so we're going to have to find another team.
Fuck you, Wisconsin. Let's go, the other lads, Louisville.
All right, Louisville's still in it. That's another good basketball
Louisville, Kentucky.
You might be onto something there, Gav. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for watching and supporting the show. Hit the thumbs up button and all those other things you're supposed to do on YouTube. Thanks, Gav. We'll see you guys on the next show. I Know Sports. He's a Clown. Bye-bye.
See ya.